God of War 2018 has one of the finest stories gaming has ever produced. It easily ranks among The Last of Us and The Shadow of Colossus. But by doing so, did it sacrifice the very thing that made it popular, the gameplay? Let's find out in this video. The previous God of War games are very repetitive in the story structure. Kratos is angry, and the only way his anger can be silenced is by killing off his sibling gods and whoever comes between them. I played the second and the third game, and the only major difference I could find was the improved gameplay mechanics and graphics. So now let's talk about God of War 2018. From the trailers only we got a clue that this will show the relationship between Kratos and his son, and we will see less angry Kratos and more, let's say, silent Kratos. And when I finally played the game, it delivered an epic father-son relationship, and also it showed cutscenes which linked it to the past games. The story had so much epic moments, and the final fight where we know the only weakness of Baldur, I had my jaws on the floor. And although I was feeling very satisfied by the end of the game, I was having a slightly bad taste in my mouth. Then I thought to myself, what was wrong with this perfectly made game? The first thing that came to my mind was the repeated boss fights. The giants, the gorillas, and the tree-like structures were all having clones of themselves, which was a tad disappointing for me. Then after some thought, I had some other problems as well, which I'm gonna list down. The first one is lack of combat control. In the previous God of War games, the camera was always placed at a distance place, and although it made the game feel like a puppet show, we always thought we were in control. But in the new God of War game, the devs have made something new. They place the camera behind the player, just like a third-person shooter. But by doing so, it makes us vulnerable to the enemy attacks, because it blocks our vision and we are only able to see what's in front of us. That's why I think the devs have made Atreus tell us about an enemy is attacking us from a point we can't see, and also we get an indicator from an enemy before it attacks us. But it does not make the game any easier, and we will still get a hit by the enemy if we are not careful enough. The second one is lack of proper boss fights. God of War 3 is still remembered for its cinematic boss battles, which till now has aged very well. Each and every boss was unique and mechanically different from one another and was satisfying to defeat. The same cannot be said about God of War 2018. Like I told you, most of them are clones of each other, and the only memorable boss encounter I had was with Magni and Modi. And also the dragon fight was also a bit underwhelming, because all we had to do was to throw fireballs at him. And please don't make me talk about the Valkyries. The next thing is lack of weapon variety. Actually this is more of a personal problem, because I don't think many players had problem with it. They were quite okay. Throughout the entire game, we get only 3 weapons of our choice: the Leviathan Axe, Kratos' bare hands, and spoiler alert, the Blades of Chaos. But till then, we have become so much familiar with the Leviathan Axe that I kind of feel it was out of place. And to add to that, you can use Leviathan Axe to everybody except the ice one, made me switch my weapons as quickly as possible. Don't get me wrong, I loved the cutscene where he gets his Blades of Chaos, but gameplay wise, I did not see it as any improvement in gameplay. And the next thing is the uninspired main quest. God of War games were never about story. It was always about beating the crap out of other gods. But in this game they tried to have a good story. So what story is it again? It's about pouring Atreus' mother's ashes at the topest region of the 7 kingdoms. Its story is like of Mario's. For example, whenever you think your journey is over, you get an unwanted problem, and to solve it, you have to go all around the map. And add to the fact there are no memorable side quests as well, you had a very bland objectives to follow. And now finally, lack of helmets for Kratos. Sorry, I'm just kidding. So guys, these were my reasons to why I think God of War 2018 is not a perfect game. Don't get me wrong, I really liked the game. It really tried not to replicate its past games' mistakes, like the odd platforming sections, which was really out of place. And I really admired the one-shot camera, which is very difficult to pull off. Technically this game is flawless, but mechanically I think they didn't have much time. Because I saw a video on YouTube in which one of the developers was saying that the footage they showed on E3 2016 was the only gameplay they developed so far, and he was warning about how they will make 25 to 30 hour gameplay in 2 years time. So that's why I think they made some compromises along the way, and I'm totally fine with that. But I hope in the next game they will improve their gameplay structure along with the story. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked.